I sat in my private office on the 50th floor, watching through one-way glass as my sister Amanda strutted into her team meeting, 40 minutes late, as usual. Her perfectly manicured hands clutched a designer coffee while her assistant scrambled behind her with files. Files I knew she hadn't bothered to read. "Ms. Chen is here for her presentation," my executive assistant William announced through the intercom. "Let's see what excuse she has for being unprepared this time," I replied, settling in to observe. Below, Amanda launched into her usual performance, all style, no substance. The same sister who'd spent 5 years treating me like her personal servant was now trying to charm her way into a senior VP position. If only she knew that her anonymous CEO was actually her younger sister, Grace, the one she'd relegated to glorified nanny status. As you can see, Amanda gestured vaguely at charts she clearly didn't understand. Our key 3 projections. I smiled, remembering how this all began. 5 years ago. "Grace, your sister needs you," Mom had pleaded over the phone. "The divorce has been hard on her. She can't manage the kids and work alone." I'd agreed, temporarily moving into Amanda's luxury townhouse to help out. What started as a few weeks turned into 5 years of unpaid servitude. 5:30 a.m. Wake up to make kids lunches. 6 o'clock a.m. Start breakfast. 6:30 a.m. Wake kids, get them dressed. 7 o'clock a.m. Wake Amanda, multiple attempts. Drive kids to school. Clean house. Start laundry. Grocery shopping. Begin dinner prep. More cleaning. Pick up kids. Help with homework. Activities chauffeur. Serve dinner. Clean kitchen. Kids bedtime. More cleaning. Late p.m. Finally work on my little tech project. What they didn't know. That little tech project was Nova Technologies, now worth $2.3 billion. Those late nights were spent running a global company. Those computer classes were board meetings. That basic coding job was me being CEO. "Grace," Amanda would yell. "Where's my dry cleaning?" "Grace, the kids need snacks." "Grace, I'm having friends over. Make something impressive." All while I silently built an empire. What made it sweeter? Amanda, our parents, and half our extended family worked for my company, never knowing their demanding boss was the same person they treated like Cinderella. "The presentation isn't going well," William whispered, watching Amanda flounder through data she should have memorized. "No," I agreed. "It isn't." The irony was delicious. While Amanda spent her evenings ordering me around and complaining about her impossible boss, I was that boss. Every promotion she'd gotten had been based on actual merit. I'd made sure of that. But this VP position she was angling for, that required real leadership skills. Skills she'd never bothered to develop. "Your 10 a.m. is here," William reminded me. "The board wants to discuss the VP candidates." "Tell them I'll be right there." I watched Amanda wrap up her disastrous presentation. "And William?" "Add my sister's performance review to the agenda." The memories flooded back. 3 years ago. "Grace, you're so lucky," Amanda had said, lounging on her couch while I cleaned. "No real responsibilities, no pressure, just simple housework and the kids." Meanwhile, I just closed a $500 million acquisition. 2 years ago. "I don't know why you waste time with those coding classes," she'd sneered. "It's not like you'll ever be more than a basic programmer." That day, I'd signed a $1.2 billion contract with Google. 1 year ago. "You should be grateful," she'd lectured. "Living here rent-free, having purpose and helping me succeed." I'd just been named one of Forbes 40 under 40. All under my professional alias, Elizabeth Joan. The mysterious tech CEO. The innovation leader. The billionaire boss they never saw. "Your sister's applying for the VP position," the board chairman said as I entered the meeting. "Her technical skills are lacking, but she's very confident." "Confidence without competence is just arrogance," I replied, taking my seat. "Show me her numbers." The data told the real story. Late to 68% of meetings. Missed deadlines, 47%. Team turnover, 35%. Original innovations, 0. But her presentation skills, someone started, are all show, no substance, I finished. Like everything else. Just like at home. All demands, no contribution. All rights, no responsibilities. All entitlement, no effort. My phone buzzed. A text from Amanda. Grace, where are the kids' science project materials? You were supposed to handle that. I smiled, typing back, in the craft drawer where they always are. Then I turned to the board. I think it's time for some changes in middle management. Should we start looking at external candidates for VP? No, I replied. I have someone in mind. Someone who actually understands hard work. That afternoon, I watched Amanda storm into her supervisor's office, furious about being passed over for promotion. The CEO must be blind, she ranted. Do you know how hard I've worked? No, sister, you have no idea what hard work looks like. But you're about to learn. I picked up my phone, typing a company-wide email. Dear Nova Technologies employees, for 5 years, I've led this company under an alias to ensure decisions were made based on merit, not personal connections. Today, that changes. It's time for transparency. Elizabeth Zhang is stepping down. Grace Chen is stepping in. Same person, same standards, new clarity. Sincerely, your CEO. Send. Sometimes the best revenge isn't in striking back. It's in standing up. Standing tall. Standing revealed. The chaos erupted immediately. Phones buzzing. Emails flying. Amanda's office falling silent. Time to show them who really built this empire. Who really understood innovation. Who really knew leadership. Because sometimes the best way to teach respect is to show them exactly who they've disrespected. In full, glorious billion-dollar detail. I straightened my jacket, heading for the executive elevator. Time to visit my sister's floor. Time to see her face when she realizes. Time to rewrite our family dynamic. The doors opened. Silence fell. Recognition dawned. Hello, Amanda, I smiled. We need to talk about your performance review. Sometimes the greatest power isn't in wealth. It's in truth. In revelation. In finally being seen. Time to show them exactly who they forced to be their helper, and exactly what that helper had built. While they weren't watching. While they weren't respecting. While they weren't seeing. The stage was set. The truth revealed. The real leadership about to begin. Because sometimes the best success is the one they never saw coming, until it was signing their paychecks and redefining their reality. Welcome to my company, sister. Time to learn what real work looks like. What real leadership requires. What real respect means. The revolution wasn't just digital. It was personal. It was powerful. It was long overdue. Time to show them who Grace Chen really was. And what she'd built while they weren't looking. While they were too busy demanding. Too busy underestimating. Too busy to see the empire rising in their midst. The reckoning had begun. And it was worth every billion-dollar penny. The silence in Amanda's office was deafening. She sat frozen in her ergonomic chair, the one she demanded from HR, while I was just a housekeeper, staring at me as if seeing a ghost. This is a joke, she finally managed. Some kind of sick prank. Like the prank of making me raise your children for 5 years? I settled into the chair across from her desk. Or the prank of treating your CEO like a servant. Her face cycled through emotions. Disbelief, anger, fear, and finally, the sweetest of all, dawning recognition of her new reality. You're Elizabeth Zhang. Have been all along. I picked up the performance review on her desk. Just like I've been watching your mediocre performance while you complained about your impossible boss. But, what you were home with the kids. Cooking and cleaning. Multitasking, I smiled. Running $1 billion company between loading your dishwasher and driving your children to school. Impressive time management, don't you think? The color drained from her face as memories crashed over her. Grace, my presentation is tomorrow. Iron my suit. While I was closing a merger worth millions. Grace, the kids need help with homework. Stop playing with your laptop. While I was leading a board meeting. Grace, you're so lazy, always on your phone. While I was directing global operations. The board meeting, she whispered, last week, when I was late. Yes, I was there, watching you present data you hadn't bothered to understand. I leaned forward. Tell me, Amanda, how does it feel knowing your useless little sister has been evaluating your job performance? Her phone buzzed, probably our parents, who by now had also received the company-wide email. She ignored it, still staring at me. Why? She finally asked. Why did you let us treat you like that if you were this? Because I wanted to see who people really were, how they treated someone they thought was powerless. I stood straightening my designer suit, so different from the plain clothes I wore at her house. You failed that test, sister, spectacularly. The VP position, her voice cracked, was never going to be yours, I finished. Leadership requires something you lack, respect for others, regardless of their perceived status. The memories kept flowing. Last Christmas, Grace can eat in the kitchen. We need her to watch the kids anyway. While I was worth billions, last summer, Grace doesn't need a vacation. It's not like she has a real job. While I was employing thousands, last month, Grace should be grateful we give her purpose. While I was their boss. What? What happens now? Amanda's voice was small. Now, I checked my watch. Now you have a performance review with your actual boss. No more hiding behind fake charm and family connections. You wouldn't fire your own sister. No, I agreed. I wouldn't fire family just for being family, but I will evaluate an employee based on merit, just like I always have. Her phone buzzed again. Our mother this time. Amanda, did you know about Grace? How could you let us treat her that way? Finally, someone asking the right question. The children, Amanda suddenly remembered. Who will take care of them? I've arranged for a proper nanny. Paid, of course. Unlike your last childcare solution, I moved toward the door. My office. 30 minutes. Don't be late, for once. As I left, I heard her collapse into tears. Not of regret, I noticed, but of fear. Fear of losing her cushy position. Fear of having to actually work. Fear of facing real consequences. Sometimes the best lessons come from falling, from seeing the ground brush up, from finally facing reality. The next hours were chaos. Parents calling repeatedly, relatives sending panicked messages, colleagues suddenly discovering respect, Amanda trying to rally support. But the truth was already out. The servant was the CEO. The helper was the boss. The useless sister was worth billions. Your parents are in the lobby, William announced. Send them up. I replied. Time to rewrite the family dynamic. Sometimes the greatest power isn't in revenge. It's in reformation, in rebuilding, in redefining relationships. The elevator dinged. Time for Act 2. Time for truth. Time for change. Because sometimes the best success stories aren't about getting even. They're about getting better. All of us, whether we want to or not. The stage was set. The truth was out. The real work was about to begin. Welcome to my world, family. Time to learn what real respect looks like. What real success requires. What real family means. The revolution wasn't just professional. It was personal. It was necessary. It was just beginning. My parents entered my office like chastened children, their usual authority stripped away by the revelation of who really held the power in our family. Behind them, Amanda slunk in, still wiping tears from her perfectly made-up face. Sit, I instructed, not rising from behind my desk, the same tone Amanda had once used when ordering me to clean her house. How the tables had turned. Grace, Mom started, her voice trembling. Why didn't you tell us? Would it have changed how you treated me? I kept my voice level. Would knowing I was worth billions have made me more worthy of respect? The silence was answer enough. For 5 years, you watched your eldest daughter treat me like a servant. You encouraged it even. I pulled up a spreadsheet on my screen. While I was building this company, employing thousands, revolutionizing tech, you told me I should be grateful for the purpose of serving Amanda. We didn't know? Dad began. Exactly, I cut him off. You didn't know. And that's the problem. You shouldn't have needed to know I was successful to treat me with basic dignity. I turned to Amanda, who was studying her expensive shoes. Your performance review, I said, sliding a folder across the desk. Read it. Her hands shook as she opened it. Employee shows consistent patterns of tardiness, underperformance, poor team leadership, reliance on charm over competence, failure to meet basic job requirements. But I've gotten promotions, she whispered. Based on the few times you actually did your job, I confirmed. I never gave you special treatment, Amanda. Even when you were making me scrub your toilets. Mom started crying softly. Dad looked like he aged a decade. Amanda just kept staring at her review. Now, I continued, we have decisions to make, professional and personal. You're not firing me. Amanda's head snapped up. That depends on you. I leaned back in my chair. I'm offering you all a chance to learn what real work looks like, what real respect means, what real family should be. How? Dad asked. Amanda has two choices: accept a demotion to a position matching her actual skills, with mandatory performance reviews and no special treatment, or resign. A demotion? She gasped. But my lifestyle should match your actual worth to this company, I finished. Just like my lifestyle didn't match my worth when I was living in your guest room, raising your children. The memories hung between us. Grace, you're so lucky to have such an easy life. While I was closing billion-dollar deals, Grace stopped complaining about being tired. It's not like you have a real job. While I was employing their entire social circle. Grace, you need to learn gratitude. While I was their boss. And us? Mom asked quietly. You both have similar choices. I pulled out 2 more folders. Continue your current positions, but under direct supervision and with clear performance metrics. Or retire with basic benefits. You do this to your own family. Amanda's voice cracked. Family? I stood slowly. Was I family when you made me miss sleep to prepare your presentations? Was I family when you mocked my computer hobby while I built an empire? Was I family when you treated me like property instead of a person? The silence was heavy with realization. You have 24 hours to decide, I said. Choose wisely. This time there's no mysterious CEO to blame. No family connections to exploit. Just clear choices and real consequences. The children. Amanda tried one last time. They need their aunt. They'll have their aunt, I assured her. But as their aunt, not their unpaid nanny. They'll have the chance to know the real me, successful, powerful, respected. The me you never bothered to see. As they left my office, shoulders slumped under the weight of truth, I called out one last time. Oh, and Amanda, don't be late tomorrow. Your new position, whichever you choose, won't tolerate it. Sometimes the greatest lessons come from clarity, from seeing truth unveiled, from facing real consequences, from learning real respect. The next 24 hours would change everything. Family dynamics, professional relationships, basic respect, fundamental truth. Because sometimes the best teaching isn't in punishment, it's in clarity. In consequences, 1 month later, I watched from my office as Amanda arrived at work, on time, in a sensible suit rather than designer labels. She chose the demotion, starting over in project management, where her skills actually matched her responsibilities. Her team's productivity is up 40%, William reported, handing me the latest numbers. And she hasn't mentioned her impossible boss once. I smiled, remembering how she'd accepted her new role, not with grace, but with a determination born of necessity. The sister who once ordered me around now reported to people who used to work under her. Reality has a way of teaching the hardest lessons. Our parents had chosen to stay on too, though Dad had taken a voluntary step down to an advisory role. Mom had surprised everyone by excelling under clear metrics. Apparently, she did have real skills when not coasting on family connections. Your niece and nephew are here, William announced. The children bounded into my office, no longer seeing me as their servant but as their successful aunt. The truth had changed everything, even their young perspectives. Aunt Grace. Emma, now 10, hugged me. Can you help with my coding project? The real you, not the pretend you. The real me would love to. I smiled, remembering how I used to hide my expertise while helping with homework. Mom's different now. Tommy, 12, observed quietly. She makes her own presentations, and she apologized to us about how she treated you. Children see everything, including change. My phone buzzed. A message from Amanda. Team meeting in 10. I know you're watching. I'm trying to make you proud this time. Progress comes in small steps, in quiet realizations, in humble moments of truth. The family dinner that evening was different from the old days. No orders thrown my way. No assumptions about service. No dismissal of my worth. Instead, real conversations. Actual respect. True family dynamics. I never knew, Amanda said quietly over dessert, how strong you were. Running everything while we treated you like someone beneath you. I finished. Like someone we didn't see, she corrected. I'm sorry, Grace. Really sorry. Sometimes the greatest victories aren't in destruction. They're in reconstruction, in rebuilding what was broken, in creating something true. The empire I built hadn't just changed our professional lives. It had transformed our family, our understanding, our reality. Next time, I told them, see people for who they are, not for what you think they should be. Because sometimes the best success stories aren't about getting even. They're about getting better. All of us. Together. The future was different now. Clearer. Truer. Better. Built on respect. Founded on truth. Grown from understanding. The billions hadn't just bought success. They purchased clarity, created change, built something real.